Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking, here with another video review. This would be a preview video because the game I am reviewing is called Paydirt, and it is in Kickstarter as we speak. This is a game from Crash Games, and I actually had the pleasure of checking this game out at Gen Con when it was in a very early prototype stage. The CEO and Grand High Poobah of Crash Games, a guy by the name of Patrick Nickel, and I have become fast friends, and he asked me if I would do this preview, and I said, well, only if I like the game. But then when I played it at Gen Con, I actually really enjoyed it, and then after that period of time until now, he and the designer, Tori Neiman of Alien Frontiers fame, you might very well know that game. That's one of my absolute favorite Dice Euro games. They refined the game and made it better, and then when they sent me this prototype, it was even better than the game that I had played back in August of 2013. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the game works, as I always do with these videos, and then after that we'll come back to this exact same spot where you're seeing me right here, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what I like about Paydirt, and then, as always, somewhere along the way, if you figure out this is a game you want to add to your collection, you can head over to the Kickstarter, back it, get the game published, and then you can have a way better looking box. Theoretically, I'm assuming. I doubt this is what the box is going to look like, but a really awesome looking game that really awesomely plays well if you're into the whole worker placement type auction-y Euro goodness that this game is going to give you. So, all right. So how to play Paydirt, and then I'll tell you exactly what I think. Alright, let's dive into Paydirt and let me tell you exactly how we play. As always, this is a prototype that the fine folks at Crash Games were kind enough to send me. So the stuff you see in front of you is not necessarily indicative of what the final game will look like. So I just wanted to make sure that you realize that the cubes and the meeples and whatever that might, and even the artwork for that matter, though I think this is very close to what the art will end up being. This is all, it's a really nice looking prototype, but it might not look exactly like this when the game gets published. As always, yet another game company was kind enough to send me a bag of change to be used as the money, and they're expecting this to be returned with the game, but no, I'm getting rich. This is the second one. I'm keeping the money, and it's mine now. Sorry, Patrick. But anyway, so the game has a main game board. This is the main game board, and each player will have their own personal game board. And this is their mining camp, if you will. And the whole process you have is that you will have these claims that have these little claim, like little tiles. And like if you read, it says Baron on there. I'm waiting for the focus to come in here. But this is a Baron claim, meaning that it probably doesn't have a lot of gold in it. And you can compare that to, and this is really small type, so I apologize. But that's a promising one. And of course, there is these rich ones. So, obviously these theoretically have more gold in them than the promising ones. But, as luck can have it, sometimes, like a rich field might have the same as a barren one or something. It's just one of those, when you're digging for gold, it isn't a guaranteed situation you have. So everybody starts with 5 workers. As you hire more people, you get access to more workers. When you start up the game, I need to move these out of the way, I just realized. You need to set up, because this game has a very large auction contingent to it, you need to set up the different items that you have for auction, the different items that are for sale. And you start off with 3 of each thing for auction. Equipment, claims, and personnel. And so you just set up a little area over here, and I'll show you some of these in closer detail here in just a moment. But you just start off the game, and this will be, you'll refill this at the beginning of every round. So it isn't one of those things where auction where you refill it after something is purchased. You leave the blanks, if you will. So we'll just go ahead and fill that up as so. And then also, apart from the auction, you also have the ability to purchase gear from the supplier here in like the main camp. And then this is another set of tiles, and you set up 5 of these along the side here. And these aren't auctioned. You actually just purchase these flat out for the amount of money that is listed on them. And you know, so I'll just go ahead and put these out here, like so. And these are finite, so I mean, you don't like ever really discard them or anything like that. And if you ever run out, you just run out. You know, it's one of those things. So, just quickly, I'm going to show you also one other thing. Is that there is no like number of turns for this game, due to the fact that you're mining up in the frozen north, and periodically at the end of each turn, the temperature will drop, and I'll show you how that works here in a little bit. And once this reaches 0 degrees Celsius, freezing, you know, the ground freezes, you can't dig the gold out anymore. That'll signify that's the end of the game. You do a one last turn, and whoever has the most gold at the end of the game wins. So, to start off, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to auction. And auctions, if you played auction games, they're pretty simple. Whoever is the first player, and they get this like head miner token, which is just this big, I don't know what it looks like. This is just a big orange meeple. Brown meeple, I should say. What, orange? Why did I say orange? But anyway, they take, and they pick one item over here. And all these items, here, I'll just pick up, like, this is a person. I'll show you one of each of these. How about I do that, just so you can see. So here we have a person. This is a personnel guy. Rick Axel Grease, you know, maybe just whatever. You know, just a little cool little picture, and you know, Patrick, where's my picture? Why am I not one of these guys? Unless I haven't seen him yet. But then he's got a beard, just like me, kind of thing. But anyway, so at the end of work phase, remove one wear cube from a piece of equipment. It's just a special ability. What that means is he automatically gets to remove some of the wear and tear that happens on your equipment as you use it, and I'll explain how that works when we do the work phase. And this signifies over here how many meeples you get to add to your workforce if you were to claim this guy. And here, the minimum bid, $3, is the minimum amount you have to bid. So if you open up the bid, you just say, I'll bid $3 for this guy. And then it goes around the table, and somebody says, I'll go 4, or I'll go 5, you know. And then if you pass, just like in most auction games, once you pass, you're out. And until everybody passes except for the one person, last person to bid, then that person gets that item. And then you start up again and do the same thing. Let me just show you some other gear really quick here. Or not gear. Just let me show you some of the other stuff. This is equipment. And you have like a standard industries excavator. And like these little tokens, these little wrench tokens down here, that's when you take the wear and tear, you'll cover those up with red cubes. And if those were ever covered up, you can't really use it until you repair it again. But see, like, so you have a bid 3. Now, you might say, well, so what? Why is this guy so good? Okay, you can maybe see this. There's 2 little spots where you can see that those little tiles that have the different, like either the barren or the rich or the promising, like earth that you're moving or you're digging, go through. When you actually are processing your claims and processing the gold bearing dirt, you actually have to like move it slowly but surely through each little spot. And in your basic equipment that you start off with, this old crud basically, you have 3 in each of these, so it takes a long time for that to get. So you're getting better gear because you want it to move faster. So like you can see this deluxe excavator, it has 1 spot. So when it hits, when you get your dirt into this spot, you can get in there and get it out really easily. It doesn't have to be processed slowly but surely. Finally, you have these different claims, and you have these claims like here's Solomon's Pass, and you can see that there's these 3 spots on it, and it says there's I would put a rich, a barren, and a rich like payload in there, like the pay dirt, if you will. And so not all of them will have 3 either. You can see here you actually have like the Boulder Narrows, it like has less or whatever. You know, not all of them will have 3. But anyway, so the auctioning works really easily. You just pick one of the things, you say I'll bid this on that, and it goes around until somebody gets it. The one wrinkle is that once you pick something, like you use this disc, and if you pick, like let's say you bid on Solomon's Pass. So you place just that in that area, meaning that now the next person that decides what you're going to bid on, and that is determined by whoever doesn't have something that they've claimed so far, meaning that if I was the first person and I said I'm going to bid on the Solomon's Pass, and that somebody else got it, I get to pick again. But if I got Solomon's Pass, the person to my left, clockwise, would get to pick one of the other two things, those things. But they can't pick the same one. They've got to pick either personnel or equipment. And so that actually adds an interesting wrinkle, because a lot of times, like I found when we played, we would pick things that maybe you didn't want, and just to get somebody else to bid, and get somebody else to go. Because if you ever do run into a situation where everybody passes and nobody claims something, the auction phase is over. And so that's, one of those weird little wrinkles. Otherwise, it can end when nobody has enough money to buy anything anymore, or it can end once everybody gets one item. And that's what usually happens. You remove 4 things. So let's say, like these 2 personnel guys are gone, and that excavator is gone. And, and that was like at the end of the auction phase. Now you'd move on to your work phase section of the game, and you'd start processing your dirt. Now, during the work phase, what you do is each person takes their meeples and they decide where they want to put them. And this is done simultaneously, and you can see what other people are doing and make up your mind, and everybody just kind of like hems and haws and tries to decide. Now, you can either use your workers to work on your machinery by putting that above your machinery, like so, or you can put it below your machinery to fix the equipment that you're using, or you can go up here. There's a sales office. You can use that, and you can sell your nuggets. For each person up there, you can sell up to 2 nuggets for $3 each. It's like, when I say $3, it's supposed to be in thousands, but it's just a unit of money. So you're selling 1 nugget for $3, and so you can sell up to 2 with 1 person. So if you had a bunch of nuggets and you need money, you could put 2 up there, and they could sell a total of 4 nuggets for $3 each if you desperately needed some money. So you'd be able to buy things in the next auction. And then also you can go over here, and you can put people here, and then every person that's up there can buy one of these gear things over here. And I'll just show you a couple of these really quick. Once again, if you play games, these are things that just kind of can break the rules in some way. And these are just, you pay the flat amount. And so you pay $5. And you can see that once again, these have the durability things that are down there. So if we can use them. So at the end of work phase, move 1 nugget from your gold reserves to the vault. These nuggets cannot be moved, but do not count in the hardship phase. So, hardship phase is something we'll be seeing here in just a little bit. But the hardship phase is the end result, and it's a catch-up mechanism. But we'll talk about that in just a moment. And so the other thing is, this is like a ripper attachment. This is at the end of the work phase, move 1 pay dirt tile from an active claim to the first stage of your excavator, if open, and add where cubes as normal. So you just basically kind of get to do an extra work, things like that. And so there's it's an added thing that you can use. And if you got the money, they're very, very helpful to pick up, actually. And I would strongly suggest, everybody takes a moment to look at those or whatever. So you pick where they go, and then after you've decided where you placed your workers, starting with the person that has the first layer, they'll do their turn. And so you just kind of process it. And so your first turns are all going to kind of look, everybody's going to look kind of the same. You're most likely going to be just working your and maybe doing that to try to maybe just fix the damage that your excavator, if you hadn't gotten a new one. So and when you work your meeples, you get to just process them. Let's say I picked up one of these workers here, so we had one up there, and we put that guy up there too. So because let's say we got Spencer Socket here, and then let's pay 1,000 less than what you bid on when buying equipment. That's pretty cool ability. And he adds 1 meeple, And the cool thing is when you get these guys, they work for you immediately. So like you claim them, and then so like on the next time, like if you actually bid again, you could get equipment less. So you might, maybe that's something you did. You'd bid on get that guy right away. And when you pick people, you just put them off to the side like that, and then you use them. And there's really no limit. The only limit is the number of meeples you have, and you have a total of 10 possible workers. But anyway, so to process it, you take one of your tiles here, and you put it in the first spot. Now immediately when you have dirt enter the piece of machinery for the first time ever, you put a red square over like one of the little gearboxes down there, and so that's a worker. And so then you say, okay, well then I'm going to use this worker, and I'm going to move it to here. And then now if I wanted to, I could use this worker, and I could grab another dirt in here and then add another red cube. But but I'm not going to do that because I want to get it all the way over here with that worker. And you can't ever jump. So I mean, you basically have to get this out of the way. If this was here, I couldn't bring another piece of dirt out of my claim over into the spot. I had to move it to there to be able to use it. But I get them over to there, and then I use this guy, and I'm able to move that over into my loader. And then of course, since I moved it there, I have to add a cube to that location because I've moved a fresh piece of dirt into that location. Now I can then activate this worker, and for each worker that you have on like a piece of machinery, they can remove up to 2 of these cubes. So that was the most efficient way to use it, but I just wanted to show you how that works. So then he works and he removes that cube like so. And now we have this cube is here, but we got that. We're moving it towards, and the whole idea is once you get through the wash plant, you get done and you turn it over, and when you get there, you see how many. So you get 2 nuggets for that. Then you return it over into the pile, and then like you take these cool little nuggets, and these are what we have, and then we just use the big these guys, for 5 or whatever. But so then you put those in your reserves like so. Once you get there. Now, the other thing is that if you have a person in the gear supplier, then you could pick one of these things over here. And so, maybe you can, like, you decided to buy this or something. Instead of adding wear cubes to the generator, you can add this instead of the equipment. And so then you can go ahead and put that in there or whatever. So, now the interesting thing is, though, is that if you're doing that, then when you use this guy, if you're first, you get first pick. You can't then, so like if you're like the 3rd or 4th person, there's something you really want, you maybe not want to put something in the gear supplier because there's a good chance that it won't get back to you or it won't be there when you get there. You can always return people from the spot that you work them without having them do anything for you. That's always an option for you. So if they don't actually, if like you did have a guy there and the thing you wanted is gone, you aren't forced to buy something if you don't want to. So after that is done, then you do the hardships phase, in which you take these hardships cards and then number of players. The person who has the least number of gold nuggets in the reserve draws these cards, and they look at them, and then they just kind of look at these different things that they have, like stolen spark plugs. An opponent of your choice may remove up to 2 of their wear cubes anywhere and place them anywhere in your mining camp. That's a bad thing to have. These are rarely, basically, if nothing happens to you, it's a good thing, but never anything good. It's like gambling losses. Immediately give an opponent of your choice $2,000. If you can't give $2,000, give as much as you're able to. Employee feud. Choose one of your personnel cards and pay its minimum bid or lose a personnel card of your choice. And then clay layer. Discard 1 pay dirt tile from any of your active claim cards. That stinks. So you get to look through these and see which one you want, and you try to decide like what's going to hurt me the least, and maybe this, because it's only $2,000, so you're just going to give that, and then you hand the rest to the person who has the next fewest amount of gold. And then he goes on to the next person, until finally the one person who's left has to take who's in the lead gets the one that's left over. Now, whoever happens to be the head miner, say we're the head miner, will also look up here, and they see it's -2 degrees. So they'll take the marker, And they'll go down like that, move it down. And then we'll start the next round. But of course, we have to refill. So like we bought a thing down there, so we add another tile to that, and then we refill the auction spaces, like so. So we get through those. We get another gear. We get another claim. And then we go. We move the meeple to the next person in line. It's clockwise. They're the head miner, and we do the whole process again. You just continue on, like I said, until you get down to the bottom of the degrees, and then at that point you do that last turn, and whoever at the very end has the most gold nuggets, that's the only thing that matters, wins the game. If you happen to be tied with gold nuggets, then you go money. And I think after that, like it's like whoever first player or the person, but we've never, you know, how often do you actually have the tiebreaker to the tiebreaker to the tiebreaker? But there you go. So that's how you play Pay Dirt. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things moving. It's kind of fun to watch your dirt kind of move it and sift its way through, and it's always nice to like flip it over and see what you get, because sometimes you'll get lucky. Let's see if I got lucky when I pick these. Like, yeah, like see, you can get like a 4 nugget one on a barren tile. And and sometimes like well, here's like a rich tile that has 6, but sometimes these rich tiles, yeah, like here's a rich tile that only has 4 as well. So I mean, it's kind of fun to like kind of like to see it. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's like the kid in the candy store and opening your presents or whatever. And so it's exciting to pull that over and see how much you get. And like I said, it's just a nice little fun little process game, if you will. And I love the auction. I love everything else. I love the placing the workers and kind of using them and like processing everything, as I said. But I'll get more into that with my conclusion, and we'll do that right now. Whenever I get a prototype, and especially the ones that are really nice, I always like messing with the components when we get to this point, because I always like to think of the person that put all the time and effort into giving me this really cool looking game. It's like watching this going, don't break it. So, but so sorry, Patrick or Tori or whoever put this together. Okay, so there you go. Pay Dirt. You should have a really good idea of how the game plays. And I was, I'll fully admit, when I heard that it was from Tori Neiman, I was like, oh, it's going to have dice, and it's going to be cool, and it's going to have all this stuff. And then, surprisingly, it didn't. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of designers out there that kind of play, I shouldn't say, like, have the same game, but they're kind of known for a mechanic, or they're known for, perhaps a theme, or just kind of like, just a substance to their game that makes people, as they play it, they go, hey, this game reminds me of whatever. Let me take Matt Garrett's, for example. I mean, every single one of his games seemingly has a rondel or some sort of rondel mechanic, And so, and you have that kind of same thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I do like it when somebody surprises me. And I expected a game with, like I said, a bunch of dice and rolling and things like that. So when I saw Pay Dirt for what it was, I was actually pretty excited about it. Now, one of the things I really enjoy in Euro games is I really like auction games. I've just, and I really like worker placement games. So this is kind of like one of these peanut butter and chocolate things for me. Peanut butter and chocolate. But they kind of, it's one of those things where, the auctions that I like are where you're figuring out in your head, is X worth how much money I have? And do I want to overpay for it? Do I want to try to drive up the price and make somebody else overpay for it? I like that. I mean, it promotes an interaction between you and the other players, and that's what I look for the most part in my Euro games. I look for games that make me interact with the other players. Now, there's a few games out there that have that whole tend your own garden, then compare each other's gardens to each other. But the ones I really, really dig are the ones that kind of force, I shouldn't say force, but the mechanics themselves force like an interaction between the other players. Now, that being said, one of the things I really like about this game as well is the hardship mechanic. I really enjoy, there's nothing better than like, being able to collect the cards, the hardship cards, and then look at everybody else and like take the one that doesn't really affect you that bad at all, and then handing everybody else the crummy ones. And there's just something about that, and being able to so when you're in last place, it isn't just you sitting there staring and looking up at the leaders saying, oh, what am I going to do? Here you're getting cards in your hand, and you're actually like saying, yeah, you know what? Hey, there. your stuff's broken or whatever, and so you can actually have that effect, and that's like, and so being in last place is like almost more fun than say being in third place, if you will, if you're playing a 4-player game. So is that something I really enjoy, and plus like the whole process of the game, I like the theme, and I've said, there's games out there that just the mechanics of the game and the way that the game works is enough for me. I recently did a review of Madeira. That's the thing. I don't really feel the theme of that game at all. I don't really feel the theme of Russian Railroads, a game I'm reviewing very shortly. I don't really feel the theme of that when I play, but I enjoy that game because the mechanics of the game, kind of just inspire me and make me want to play better. Here I have a game that the mechanics of the game inspire me and want me to play better, but they also make me like feel like I'm really being a gold excavator in the Yukon. And I mean, I've watched some of those reality TV shows of like the people that are I've never watched the one about the gold people, but I've watched like a few episodes of that one with the loggers, I think it is, and I've watched the Greatest Catch or whatever. I thought that was really cool. It's like, would I risk my life on a boat in the middle of Alaska for like $20,000, whatever it is those guys make, the lowest guy on the rung of the ladder. And so I like this process. I mean, it's like, you against nature kind of thing. And I like the idea of being in that like kind of last frontier, and trying to excavate money. And then finally that leads into my last thing about the game. I really like games that use the victory points that the game gives you as an integral part of the game of something that you have to use. You can't win if you change all your gold into money, but you're not going to win if you don't change some of your gold into money. And that's along with the auction that happens at the very at the beginning of the round, when you're picking the pieces for your engine, basically, to get the gold out of the ground. You have this situation where I need money so I can get better stuff, but I don't want to spend any money because if I have to change my gold into money, then I won't have any points at the end of the game. And so that is an excellent, tough decision. And I've talked about this many times to you in my reviews. Games should give me tough decisions. I should have decisions that like make me agonize and make my buddy Craig lose his mind as he's waiting for the tumblers in my mind click into place where I decide. And don't let that like fool you into thinking this is a game that takes a long time to play. Everything's happening at the same time. It isn't like you just have one person sitting there, geez, what do I do? Everybody's kind of moving at the same time. Everybody's always interacting. Everybody's always kind of thinking at the same time and doing their own thing. And so I really enjoy all the facets of that, and the combined together. What do I have? I have a very thematic Euro that has two of my favorite mechanics, auctions and worker placement, and it also has that using your points during the game. So you're spending your points to earn theoretically more points, and you're trying to like weigh those decisions and tough decisions, all that stuff, jam it together, and we have, let me find my box, we have Pay Dirt, and I just have a really awesome game. I can't wait until this game gets funded. I can't wait till I get my very own copy. Maybe I'll never give this one back, so unless the game does get funded. So yeah, if you want them to get this really cool version of it that I have. Now, I think I'm sending it to another reviewer, actually, so that'll be going out in the mail. But regardless, the game is awesome. You really should go check it out. Check out the other videos, check out the other reviews, read up on it. Ask me any questions you might have about the game. As you all know, I'm more than willing to answer those, and I'm positive Patrick will be willing to step in and answer those as well. So, or Tori, for that matter. So, there you go, Pay Dirt. Check it out. Thank you very much for your attention during this video. I greatly appreciate it, as always. Until next time, you have yourself an awesome day. I am the Undead Viking. This is my gaming dojo. And, well, until next time. See you later. Bye-bye.